talk some LSU football. Tigers have been out there for about a week in spring practice thus far. And finally, the players were able to be made available to the media today. Burrow spoke to the media a little bit. And Garrett Nussmeier, LSU starting quarterback, had an opportunity to sit down with the media and had a number of different topics he wanted to hit on. And the first was kind of what he wants to get out of this spring. It's his first as the incumbent starting quarterback at LSU.
Yeah, I think for me, it's not an individual thing, you know. As you said, it's about our team and our unit. I think it's my responsibility to do the best job I can as a leader, to push guys, to get guys in the right spots, to get guys going in the right places, and, you know, to also bring the level of intensity and juice that, you know, is expected from me as well, you know, as the starting quarterback of this team. And so it's really, for me, just consistency, showing up every single day and bringing that same level of energy and trying to bring guys along with me. And so I think that, you know, the guys have responded very well. I think there's been a lot of energy at practices, and it's been awesome to see. And, you know, the new guys have meshed very well with the guys that have been here for a while, and so it's been a really cool dynamic, and I'm excited to see it continue to work.
So I think that what he says there is true on a lot of levels. Like, this is less about his development, which is important, and he's got to throw less interceptions, and he's got to run a little bit more, and we understand how all that goes. But it's more so about the gelling of the unit. He's got some new receivers they're going to have to work in, and he's got an entire new group up front that he's going to have to work with. And I think that is the most important thing for Garrett Nussmeier as far as what he's trying to get. It's more so about the team. He's got plenty of arm. He's seen all the defensive coverages. Like, there's a lot that he's been exposed to at this point after a year of playing at that level. So, yeah, I think it's more so the team than anything else. Second piece here was, is this different than any other spring that you've been a part of?
This is my 5th spring, which is crazy to even think about, but it's different than any other spring I've ever been a part of. You know, there's a different vibe, there's a different intensity level. You know, you can ask anybody around here. You know, we picked up the intensity, and so there's more screaming, there's more crap talk, and there's more, you know, all of that, and so that's awesome to see. And you know, I'm really happy and proud of our guys and the way that they've attacked this spring.
Football players are funny to me because they're wired so differently than me. He's so excited about the amount of crap talking that's going on the field. And I look at that as like, who gives a dang? But that's why I'm not wired like that. It's and they very much are. And there's legendary stories of Joe Burrow getting into a fight with I think it was Patrick Queen. And so that's celebrated from a football perspective, that's what they're looking to do there. And so again, I remember Garrett Nussmeier's first spring. I remember his first fall camp. He was a jubilant young kid running all over the place, jumping up and slapping people on the helmet, going crazy. And he's mellowed from that perspective with what we've gotten to see over our time in watching practice. But it sounds like they've cranked the intensity up when we're not there. Because trust me, when we're there, you don't see a lot of what they're talking about here. Now, this is something that I'm very leery of. You're going to hear all the way until Labor Day about quarterbacks at LSU going into their second year as starters. Joe Burrow went nuts. Jayden Daniels went nuts. Garrett Nussmeier is going to go nuts. And I'm hesitant to proclaim someone the next Heisman winner. I just am. I think it's reasonable to suggest that Burrow improved and Daniels improved and Nussmeier can and should improve. Do I think he's going to have the third best season in the history of LSU football? That remains to be seen, and I'm not saying that's my expectation. But he was asked today, what about the jump that Burrow and Daniels make, and can you be in that ilk?
I think that, you know, that's not really my focus. I think that I'm worried about doing the best I can to help LSU win a national championship. And that's the mindset. That's the energy and intensity that I bring every single day. And it's not about me. It's not about the transition or the year 2. It's about LSU football and year 4 under Coach Kelly. What are we going to do? And, you know, we're not afraid to admit it. We've set the standard of where we expect to be, and we expect to play football in January next year.
When I hear Garrett Nussmeier talk, I think about all the guys who work in PR for these college football teams, who coach them up on how to speak to the media and what to say and what not to say, and what coaches would like their players to say. And I feel like Garrett Nussmeier hits it to a T, whether it's Tommy Karam at LSU or if it's what Nick Saban does or doesn't want his players to say. I feel like he just always toes the line, always says what he's supposed to say. So when I hear him say it's about winning a national championship, we expect to play football in January, those are like hot takes from Garrett Nussmeier. because I've been in the interview room when they asked Garrett Nussmeier about him versus Jackson Dart in Tiger Stadium, and he immediately cuts and goes, "No, it's LSU Ole Miss." Like, he professionally almost squashes those conversations, and he's embracing them. Now, I understand that spring is a little different than fall. I understand that he had some things to say about Kyle Field at the Manning Passing Academy last year, and I understand all that. But still, I've been around Garrett Nussmeier a lot, and I've heard him say very little. And so to hear that, it perked my ears up to hear him say something like that. Now, he's got to work with a wide receiver room that's still got Aaron Anderson in it and still got Chris Hilton and it still has Xavier Thomas in it, but Kyron Lacey no longer there, and you bring in some high-profile ads in Nick Anderson, Barian Brown, and Destin Hill. So what does he think about the wide receiver group in this spring?
It might not be very big, but it's very deep, at each position. We have a lot of talent, and we have a lot of players that can go get the football, and we got guys that will make plays with the ball in their hands. So we have a very dynamic room, I would say, and, it's a very competitive room. And they push each other. They understand the standard, and, that's what we expect here. It's wide receiver U for a reason.
I feel pretty good about LSU's wide receivers as well. We've had this discussion. We'll continue to have it. I'd like to see Nick Anderson do a little bit more with the first and second team. He's not out there when they go through the dry offense. However, I wrote this at LouisianaSports.net, and I'll add it here, that Anderson did go through the individual drills full speed and looked great today. So he's not in a red no-contact jersey. Just when they go first-team offense, they go with Aaron Anderson and Xavier Thomas and Chris Hilton. And then when they go to the second team, it's Barian Brown and Kyle Parker, and let's see if I can come up with the last one. Can't. It's not Nick Anderson. But either way, it would surprise me that he was not in the first 6 wide receivers that were out there, but he was going through the individuals full speed. So I think he's ready to go, and I think he is participating fully in spring ball. So I like LSU's wide receiver room. I think there are a lot of different skill sets. I like Nick Anderson is the big body potential one. I love Aaron Anderson's versatility and what he did last year. I think Xavier Thomas obviously has a role. They liked Kyle Parker early in the season last year before he got the triceps injury, and he's out there in a red no-contact jersey and going through full speed. Chris Hilton's the other piece to this puzzle, and we all know what his game is at this point, and we all know what the potential is because he's shown it to us, just hasn't been steady. And Nussmeier spoke about the senior speedster.
Chris is an unbelievable player. He has a special talent, special speed, and his ability to track the football is very, very high. And so, obviously, we have chemistry coming in the same class together, and we've been working with each other for 4 years. And whenever he is able to stay healthy, which, I have full confidence he will be, he's a pretty dang good football player, and so I'm very excited for him this year.
Man, he needs to stay healthy. This is so obvious, and I'm here to try to be a little bit more interesting and a little bit more informative than that. But, let's just be very frank about it. Like, if he's healthy, he changes the way you have to play defense. He just does. It's in such small sample sizes. We have seen him blow tops off defenses. Did it to Wisconsin. Did it to Kansas State in the freaking last play of the Texas Bowl. Did it to Oklahoma. Did it to Baylor. He's just never out there. And if he could just stay out there for 12 games, I think that helps the running game. If you just have one guy out there that no one on the defense can run with, if he can just stay healthy. It's such a huge question mark for this team, but I'm hopeful because I thought he looked good in August last year, and then it got taken away with that late camp injury. So last thing here, kind of veering away from LSU, but just a cool story that we want to kind of shine a light on when it's available, that Doug Nussmeier, now just 80 or so miles away from his son playing college football, is now Doug Nussmeier is the offensive coordinator of the Saints, and Garrett Nussmeier kind of spoke to his final year at college. Dad's just down the road.
Obviously, it's going to be really cool for, not just me and my dad, but my entire family, to have him that close. And, I tell people all the time, my whole life I've always been a Saints fan because, he played there and, he was always in college. So I was always able to root for the Saints. And since he's been in the NFL, I haven't really had the opportunity to. So now I can be a full Who Dad again, and so I'm excited for that. I think he's really excited to be back there, and it's great for our family, great for him. And so I'm so excited for him, and it's going to be really, really cool.
Talk about one to endear yourself to the people of Louisiana. Play quarterback for LSU and call yourself a full Houdat. That's a solid way to ingratiate yourself here into South Louisiana. Garrett Nussmeier calls South Louisiana home. Of course, his mom's family is from the Acadiana and 337 area. And that's just a cool little storyline that certainly everyone's familiar with, but I think that it's cool to hear Garrett's perspective on it. And hopefully Garrett can get over to New Orleans for a Saints game or two, and hopefully Doug can get up the road for some LSU home games as well, just for a selfish family perspective for those guys. I realize they got work to do on the weekends for sure, but they can get over and see each other in action because they're so close. I think that's a really, really cool thing that just very, very few people have the opportunity to experience something at that level at this point in their lives. That's a very, very cool thing. So that's Garrett Nussmeier speaking to the media earlier today. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.